So what is standard deviation? In statistics, standard deviation is a measure of how spread out data is. It tells us how far data points are from the mean. A smaller standard deviation value means data is close to the mean, and a larger means data is more spread out. Standard deviation helps us understand how consistent your data is. So, let's look at this visually. We're going to draw a set of axes where this middle line represents the mean. If you draw a distribution line where your data points would lie, and annotate the axes, we can see the mean sits in the middle, and how far away we are from the mean is the standard deviation. The further away from the mean you are, the higher the standard deviation. So let's look at an example. Grant takes part in a dance show and he gains his scores from the judges. What is the standard deviation of the data? So he scores 5, 6, 8, 10, 7, and 5. The first thing we do is we need to calculate the mean, which you define as the sum of all the numbers divided by the number of data points we have. So we add all the numbers together and divide by 6. So we work out that's 7. In statistics, the mean is usually denoted by x bar. In order to lay out a standard deviation calculation, we need to draw a table. The first column contains all our x values. The next column along contains all our x values minus x bar, our mean, which is shown below. And then the next column is, we just square that whole column, which gets us the following values. You might need to pause the video. For the standard deviation calculation, we need to calculate the sum of the last column, x take x bar. This is represented by the Greek letter sigma. So we add this column together, which gets us a value of 19. Once we have all this information, we're ready to do the calculation. This formula for standard deviation is represented by the square root of our sum of the x take x bar all squared column all over our number of values minus 1, which you can see here. If we plug all these numbers into the formula, we get a standard deviation of 3.8. So in summary, standard deviation measures how spread out our data is. It shows how values deviate from the mean. Smaller values mean data is closer to the mean, larger values means data is more spread out. Standard deviation helps analyse how consistent our data is. Thank you.